Hello shareholders, and as is becoming traditional, I should be telling you about what's in this week's show. Well, Field Sports Britain tomorrow is going to have Roy Lupton out fox shooting. There is a bit of an upswing in fox numbers in his part of Kent because of the lack of rabbits, and Paul Childerley is road testing some Shooter King kit for us in a destruction test. Thank you very much to your response to last week's vlog. Shareholder Murray Honeyman is very keen on Newfoundland and Labrador, as I am. Thank you for that, Murray. I shall follow that up. And Simon Mansell introduces me to Belgian sporting artist Ghislaine Guinan, who is worried about the rise of the anti-hunting movement in Europe. I shall pick up on that one as well. Thank you, Simon. A strong reaction to the Malta story. Many of you appalled that anyone can think pelican shooting is a good idea, but you're generally pleased that Malta's heading in the right direction. Nigel Appleton asks, how do we get this type of positive story out to the general public and not just to the converted who watch Field Sports TV? Well, I think the answer is YouTube. If we put the story in Shooting Times, it would of course only be read by shooters. But we put it on YouTube where we can get in touch with the waverers. I think if we want proof of that, Chris Packham last week put out a story about the horrors of mountain hare hunting, in his eyes not entirely positive for shooting that one. It's interesting actually, the moment he gets away from BBC production values, he has to stand out in the rain like the rest of us. He loses the audio quality he's used to. Sounds like he was reading a script in a cupboard. It shows how important a battleground YouTube is, as I think the newspapers once were. On that subject, viewer Chris Woods asks if we can get our programme out onto, say, Netflix or perhaps some of the US hunting channels. That's an interesting one. We are actually on a cable or satellite channel in South Africa, if you happen to be there. And we are, or probably were, on a satellite channel outside Lisbon and a cable channel outside San Diego in California. But I think those two have stopped now. We will go anywhere where the viewership does not have a great impact on our views on YouTube. On YouTube, views breed views. And thank you for that. I will certainly look into Netflix. Ideas for this week. Robin Vish emails to ask if we can do something on crop damage and on the cost of that damage and on repairs that people can make to the damage, which is an interesting idea. I think we should, or I hope we are, including crop damage as the backstory to any pest control film we make. But I like the idea of repairing it and costing it, so I shall put the edicts out. I went to an incredibly tedious but very worthy seminar today from a land agent about the future use of farms. And it talked a lot about Brexit. One of the things it talked about was something that I think is important we reflect in our programming, and that is the way the river is flowing. The countryside is going to be about amenity. Amenity means, you know, leisure uses. And there are two kinds of amenity which we're going to find important, shooting and bird watching. And I think the reason we're going to find that important is because we are going to need to win the conservation argument with shooting in order to go up against bird watching. Because once we've won the conservation argument, it's going to be very easy to show that shooting gets the numbers, shooting gets the people. I know this because one of the optics companies we work for, and subsequently another one, has confirmed to me that they sell their binoculars in the proportion 70%, 20% and 10% to the army, to shooters and to bird watchers. And guess what? The proportions are 70% to shooters, 20% to bird watchers and 10% to the military. I think that shows how important we are, but we've got to win it. We've got to win it by showing conservation, citizenship and responsibility. Now let's end on a shareholder benefit. You've got about 24 hours on the rest of the shooting public, but last year we helped Blaser, Mauser, Zauer and Minox hold a free range day just south of Bristol. This year it's going to happen again. Braces of Bristol range between June the 8th and June the 10th. It's 50 people a day, and you just choose a day at bit.ly/braces day. I'm in charge of the entries. You are going to need an FAC, but if you can convince me that you're about to get one, I'm sure that will do. So please rush off to that website and fill out the form. If you need to know more about it, you can click on the eye symbol on this film, and you can follow the links to the film we made about last year's event. It's really good fun. Most of the Field Sports Channel team are going to be there, including David and Andy Crow and me. Isn't that good? I'll see you next week.